might be in her area of competence. I've just learned, or it should maybe have occurred to me, that, for example, certain agencies that are being merged, they have financial partners, and then they have financial obligations or financial standards they've met. So by moving them into the ministry, they might not be able to get that financing, let's say, from the development partners, because the development partners have brought them up to a certain level. The ministry has not. Isn't that a very big concern in this thing?
In fact, for me, it waters down the 1 billion we are talking about, what we are saving. We are saving 1 trillion against losing how much of funding in certain areas. And for me, the other thing in that area, same area I'm looking at, is you get agency A and merge it with ministry B. Agency A has certain culture they are going with. Probably even the head, the former ED or the former chairman or whoever going that side, probably has more powers or say or influence than even the minister. They're
those
going
are
to
the ones
report
you don't move. You cut it out that far.
But I'm sure there are those they've moved when that is the case. I'm not privy to the report, but what if they've moved a certain agency where that is going to be the case? How are they going to deal with change management?
Absolutely.
Are these people able, who have come with very good cultures and all that, are they able to influence a whole ministry or department?
Or just be part of the
merged and
I think where there is duplication, now you have just decided to say this particular person was doing work that the commissioner is doing. So when you believe the other
commissioner
person
is supposed to be doing.
yes, or is doing, and the other guy is doing. So the commissioner is supervising the agency that does his work. Now we're going to say the commissioner do your work. So in that case, I don't need to move the staff.
You see, Professor, the problem with that is our ministries are not centers of excellence.
Yeah.
They are not centers of
Neither
excellence.
these agencies we are scrapping.
But on the scale of performance,
Yeah.
let the mergers move to the centers that are better performing. Let the movement, the direction must be towards effectiveness, towards efficiency. Not necessarily because you are lying ministry that you must now absorb.
Don't forget the main point she raised. Part of the reason here is you want to cut a budget. Sometimes you literally give away a level of performance if you can no longer afford it.
Wow.
Because this institution may be performing very well, but it requires $1 trillion to do that performance, which I can no longer afford to have. That's why families move to 1 meal a day, yet the performance would require 3 meals a day. I can no longer afford it. So I hope where we are cutting the budgets, that's what we're saying, in some cases we succeed cutting the budget, but you also have to now do with a lower level of performance. And that's inevitable.
Which is interesting, because
That's inevitable.
let me come to Sisi, who is, again, I like Sisi because it's corruption issues. One of the things that's going to happen, and is feasible, I think everyone sees it coming, is that if I was earning 30 million in whatever agency, I'm going into the ministry, chances are I'm going to take a cut.
Scale down.
okay.
Yeah.
And it's unlikely government is going to raise its salary scales
Too much.
or to
No.
contain this person. And we then, doesn't that mean again we say part of the reason for corruption in our government, people are not paid enough, so efficiencies are again lost because now I have to bring it up every month. My mortgage is now 7 billion shillings, I'm being paid it too.
The guy has to work half a day to make ends meet.
It's one of the drivers, but I just wanted to go back to something brief that Osia said. You see, when you talk, you have like the Uganda Registration Services Bureau. I think for me, the merging shouldn't necessarily be about reducing, but improving service delivery. The Uganda Registration Services Bureau has been very effective in trying to reduce on the number of days that are
Truncating processes.
Exactly. Now, if you're going to put them under the Ministry of Justice, look at the bureaucracy that is within the Ministry of Justice. Because for me, let the merging also go hand in hand with effective service delivery. So if the Uganda Registration Services Bureau has been doing a very good job at delivering services, timely delivery of services, and they're now going to put it under a ministry that is mixed up with bureaucracy. Yes. Now that is also going to lead to issues of corruption.
And it's not even a core function of the ministry.
Exactly, but you're now going to put it there. So what exactly is going to happen? And maybe that the issue that you raised of the salaries, of course we know that salary is a driver. So, but I don't know what is going. I haven't read the report, but rumor is there may be particular agencies that may actually retain. If I'm in a particular ministry, if I was coming from a particular agency and I'm going to be merged, I may probably, I don't know whether
Cancer Institute is supposed to retain.
yeah, they're supposed now, and but you see,
the Art Institute.
yeah, now you can imagine the person who's supervising you. But again, the issue that will come up That money we're thinking of saving, so people may say, okay, fine, let us, because they know there's a salary review commission that is coming up. So they may try to see how to close that gap, because you can't supervise when I'm earning like 7 times more than you. So you may even find that the trillion shillings that thinking of saving may actually end up going into upping respective post salaries in order to break that gap.
Well, I mean, that's what was a suggestion, that maybe this trillion is going to be kind of regularized salaries and all that kind of business. But as Aditya has pointed out, it might not necessarily be the case.
It's not going to move the needle. It's not.
No, well, the argument was, I remember reading a report, the argument is that the payroll of all these agencies is about 10 trillion, which is a third of the budget. Okay, I'm sure there's some donor and all that kind of business. But is it that I cannot allow to supervise you when you're earning 4 times than me, or is it just there's a job to be done? No, regardless of whether I'm paid less than you or more, I should be able to do the thing.
You're right,
that's the theory.
Yeah, and it is the ideal, but you still can't rule it out. And again, it's going to go back to the fact that if I'm supervising a person who's earning more, then probably that is also going to force me to start looking for money elsewhere.
That's a disincentive.
Exactly.
But from employment law perspective, I wanted to find out. We have the same employer here. I'm just switching from one job to the other. Is it legal? At least where I work, it's legal for me to stay with the same employer and my salary is reduced, unless if it's a punishment or this.
Different.
How?
These guys in agencies are not under civil service. The employers are their boards and whatever.
Perhaps
So they're usually changing. Because that's one of the dilemmas we found.
Okay.
That if you wanted to get a good cut, civil service is constrained. Because if civil service decided to increase the salary of a teacher, it has to do it across all the 150,000 teachers. But if this is an agency like Chambo, which has only 800 people, it has easier ways of maneuvering. And yet in the civil service, I can't even just do it for teachers because it goes by scale. If you're saying U5 is in education, is in health, is in what, U5 must be U5. So when you look at salaries for civil service, they are constrained by so many things. Now these guys have got to terminate the other contracts, take the new contracts under civil service, and that's a choice. And that is where the problem is.
And that's where the omnibus law is coming into place to ensure that they
So will they be ready to climb down and knowing that some of them already have mortgages, paid on 30 million?
Anyone is not going to voluntarily take a pay cut, that's for sure. But talk about pay cuts and resources. I tend to agree with Mr. Ramadan Gobi that this was initially agencies were created were conditionalities of aid and that kind of business. The challenge now becomes that there's been a sprawl, and all of them have flown out the window. But there are also people who want to remain in the ministry but also want access to those resources. And therefore see this as a way to
get the resources back.
They might not, of course, say it in the paper.
That's not in the report here.
But it's likely to be the main objective. Motivation for this kind of thing. Not to mention, I've had it said, which is very disturbing to me, that the complaint has been raised even before donors. These guys don't listen to us. They don't even turn up for meetings. They don't. So there's a power issue. Then
they be very worried. Or inefficient.
I don't know what the report says about addressing those issues.
Maybe, Paul, we needed to go. We are on this table. We are all Ugandans. We've been around for some time. What is Uganda's problem today? We needed to ask those questions in as far as public sector performance is concerned.
Can I answer? Was that a rhetoric question?
It was rhetoric. I'm beginning to maybe to guide our mind a bit.
Widen the debate.
Widen the debate.
Yes.
Because in most of the fora where we've been, and I can see all our faces except him, the one I haven't been on a panel with, we have been complaining about the performance of government. And in most cases, one major aspect comes up, the coordination, that government is not coordinated. They do things as if they are serving the different masters. They can't get their efforts.
By sectors?
Coordination, overboard. Duplication and overlaps. Outright inefficiency. Spending too much money and there are no results at all. But people account.
It is actually a bias from the ministry Where performance is judged by how much of your money did you spend, not by how much did you deliver on the.
So accountability is very weak.
Yes.
And now those questions you have been asked over the years. And I think one of the facts you can't run away with is the fact that authorities, commissions, agencies, they are among the MDAs in government that take a big chunk of the budget. There have been studies over the years. In 2009, Minister of Finance hired Sempe and Katende and some British firm to carry out an analysis of government performance, MDAs. And the report indicated that only 5 agencies out of 78 that they studied were performing, that they spent the money and had results for it. 78, only 5. And the 5, by the way, by coincidence, are mainly those which today we are talking about as those which should be retained. And trillions of shillings are budgeted, sent to these agencies every year, and there are no results, and the people are driving cars, they are building buildings, and so there is that concern you can't rule out, and you can't really debate about if you are meaning well. So the point has been, how do you get government to work again? Because there is a time when government worked. Government went to work.
When?
In the early 90s, government was efficient.
No.
Government was delivering results.
No.
You may say no, but you know, for us we go with the reports.
You see, it's a question of which results.
They are reports.
Staying in a marriage for 30 years can be a result for somebody.
In the 80s, government was working before the state failure. In terms of, for example, when you look at the Minister of Agriculture, and you know, for us economists, we don't use hearsay or your emotions.
Yes.
You use the
Data.
data,
Okay.
and you analyze.
Just
now,
one point of information, just one. And I'll give an analogy in aviation. In avionics, you have panels, instrument panels in the plane. One of those panels tells you this is your airspeed. But you have airspeed and you have true ground speed, and they're different. When you look at the indicator on your panel, you'll see we're flying at 500 kilometers per hour, and you can note that's my airspeed. I mean, that's my airspeed. But your ground speed is very different because there are other factors at play. Density of air, height above sea level, drag on the plane, which is the resistance that the plane meets while going through the air. That changes your actual true speed. Going by what you're saying, you can have numbers, you can have indicators that paint a rosy picture. But what's the reality on the ground?
What's the context?
What's the context? What are the factors?
now
So
the
your
reality is,
your true performance.
the reality is, I told you, I said here that all of us were Ugandans. We have grown up in Uganda. We know Uganda very well. We were born here. I was born in Butambala. I know how Butambala worked when I was a kid in the 90s. I know how Butambala works today.
I was actually a kid in the 70s, so I know how Buhimba worked. I've written about it.
So, when you see things, there is a feeling amongst Ugandans that we are actually retrogressing, that the performance by the public sector is getting worse and worse. Therefore, you can't look on to see things getting worse. You must respond.
Yes.
May I really commend that this is a movement in one direction. I mean the right direction. Only that it's just one of the many things which should be done. As you rationalize agencies, also rationalize the ministries even. Before you say you are taking an agency up the ministry.
The first thing
Rationalize
is ban public service ministry.
No. What makes a government is actually, those ministries are not performing because of those solutions. Rationalize all of them. I know it is difficult to handle all together. This was a bit easier for political economy agencies have fewer people.
Which is what he said, there might be interested parties this side who are saying.
For political economy, it is quite easier to first deal with agencies. But there is a big problem in parliament, there is a big problem in the judiciary, there is a big problem in the executive itself. Now, how do you handle these three to ensure that your rationalization effort does not go to waste?
But let me come to you, Dr. Musa. Why now? This has not caused out of the goodness of somebody's heart to say, I think we should do this. There's a compulsion. Do you have any sense of what is compelling us at this time to even seem to shambolically go down this line?
Yeah, there are two things I think you need to look at. What he's saying, even when you want to apply the solution in piecemeal, for heaven's sake, do the diagnosis in total. We should have diagnosed the entire public service and all these agencies, and then you begin to implement your solution in piecemeal. And you could even have seen that third of these agencies want to put away should actually be in phase 2, but there are certain ministries that should be in phase 1.
Yes.
But now you haven't even touched the ministries. It is true the level of government service is going down, but as I said earlier, I'm not aware of a study then and now that actually says this is the reason why government is underperforming. Now, this could be one of them, as I said, but there could be other reasons. Yeah. Now, in economics, you say you want to prioritize and sequence. So now the priority seems to have come to these agencies. But is that the right sequence?
Because they have the money.
Is that the right sequence? So you begin to see it goes down to the money problem. And the main thing, you see all duplication and coordination. We all know government agencies and ministries that never speak to one another. So there is already lack of coordination within where these agencies are going. Some ministries are supposed to talk to another. We all know what drives the energy tariff. 4 parameters. The exchange rate, the global interest rates, inflation, and water. But you go and ask the people in the Ministry of Energy, they will never consider Ministry of Water as part of their issues. Yet the volume of water in the country is very critical in bringing down the tariff. Now you even want to subsidize manufacturers to bring the tariff down, and yet I would have said, hey, let's get some money, invest in preservation of water catchment areas. We are now having energy stations or power plants meant for 9 megawatts, but they can only have water for 3 megawatts.
Oh.
The problem is not in the energy sector. Now, these ministries never talk to each other. Now you are saying I want to coordinate agencies and send them into the ministries that are not talking. So for me, a bigger diagnosis, independent of who goes first,
but also the
should have been done first.
Are not speaking to their children.
Exactly. Now that is the worst problem. Now
That's deliberate because they don't want to get infected.
That is the worst
They have
problem.
created an insulation because there's a problem with them.
Go to the blood bank. Blood bank will tell you blood is free. Every morning, private hospitals will go there to pick blood. Government agencies don't. The ministry hospitals. They don't go to pick the blood.
Where do they go?
No transport.
No transport. No. That's why I said the inefficiencies. You are not going to judge Mulago and Nakasero the same way. There is a man ready to go and pick blood. Blood is not picked on a border.
That's on his job description.
This man is waiting for his ambulance. It has no tire. It has no fuel. Possibly the driver. So the inefficiencies are not that. Close this, put it there. I pick efficiency. If we had done a thorough diagnosis, would address the problem. Now the whole thing people are telling you, we are saving $1 trillion. And by the way, let me correct that. There is no saving to do. This country raises revenue about 16 trillion. Its budget is 32 trillion. So when you are saving the money you were borrowing, you are not saving. And that was the original structural adjustment program.
No, real I'm saving.
If
I borrow the money and I'm spending it wastefully, if I put it
that's efficiency. You are picking efficiency because you were spending it wastefully.
But that is saving.
Saving means I was spending so much in a house, now I am going to stay in a similar house at a cheaper cost. Then you are saving because you had the money in the first place. But if you are going to borrow, to spend, now you have saved yourself the burden of borrowing. You are just trimming your size to live within your means.
Let me come to you, Joseph.
You are saving the inefficiency, not saving money.
I think one of the challenges with this whole exercise is that, correct me if I'm wrong, The public just doesn't trust the government to do a good job with this exercise at all. Isn't that a problem?
And with
itself?
many
I think that's one of the problems.
That is a big problem.
It is a huge problem. We know. We don't need the data. We don't need the statistics. We know it's going to be bungled. In fact, when you asked about the issue of timing, I saw somewhere that there was a timeline of 3 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
3 years from today is 2021. This thing will collapse.
Why?
2021 is a landmark year.
What is the landmark about it?
There's a
Oil.
no.
Elections.
Elections.
Elections. See,
you spell it out.
everything about an election year subverts the original plan. So if we're going to take 3 years in, this timing is absolutely wrong. It should have happened at the beginning of a term or not at all. Because it can't cross over from one to the other. It's also presumptuous that the same administration in power now will be the same administration in power then. Or that the new administration can be
Is it presumptions?
You are the one who is so
Do you know differently?
I mean, we will go by history.
Do you know differently?
We will go by history.
This man doesn't trust
It
data.
might be possible.
So do you know differently? Do you know the administration?
You don't trust data. You don't trust the
Time
data.
series tells you, look at where you are coming from.
Actually, you're right. I don't even trust the data. I can prove to you many data sets that have World Bank signatures that are absolutely wrong.
Actually, 2021 might
There
be a
is one
positive thing,
which has been
in that we need to have saved the 1 trillion to invest it in the election.
But you said you want to be saving, Doctor. So
Because that's the language. I'm using their language and their intention.
So the point
To
is,
say you might want to save it by 2021,
By
you
the
already
way-
have a trillion to inject into electoral commission.
by the way, Paul, politically,
Yes.
rationalization works. If you went on the streets out there and you ask people
Yes.
what they feel about this thing, they'll tell you this the only good thing Seven has done in his life.
Okay, let me give
Well,
you
why
the
does it work politically?
Because people feel that, as I've told you, agencies are not serving them.
No,
They
Mr.
haven't
Betty.
given them a good service. They know those who have served them well, they know those who have been served.
Let me use the
Like,
statistics
I
that you
remember,
so
let me
that
first
we-
show you. When this news came out that they are going to rationalize agencies, the prime name they were writing, you know, in media, UNRWA.
Yes.
And the people were saying, but why are you doing UNRWA? So you can see that people were seeing UNRWA doing a good job.
Mm-hmm.
You get
So
it?
they are concerned, why are
They are
you?
concerned, why are you? They will say, this is a very good thing, but they need to do it correctly.
Yes.
They are these ones, they started mentioning names of those who should be.
Including the ones of course they don't know trypanosomiasis.
So, the point is, politically, it works.
Well, that's a point that we can agree on or disagree on. But here's what I was trying to say about the politics. Statistically, politics in this country is driven by big money, right or wrong?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Okay.
So, you tell me today I'm earning 30 million and I have a 3-year timeline to be unemployed. What's my next bet? I'm not going to come into the ministry with a 3 million paycheck.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to go into Butambala and stand for MP with my money. And now,
Go to parliament where there's more money.
where there's more money, where there's an assured self-structured
You set your own
salaries. Okay? So you're going to find that yes, we the 190 but
Maybe that's- That could be
Buzz
better.
Buntu.
You're putting
But
the
it's
better
one-
ones in.
we're so happy. We're like, yeah. And efficiency is effectiveness. The wording is brilliant. The rhetoric is fantastic. But the people with the deep pockets are getting out of jobs. And they are the ones who are going to actually make and dominate the political narrative come 2021.
Maybe that would be
So,
better.
So,
Because,
so,
you know,
so my
You have
point,
more enlightened people in parliament.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
which is okay.
In the
So
hindsight.
to answer what your question, Paul,
You hadn't factored that in.
No, they won't get there. The enlightened won't move there to the election.
No, this is survival now.
No,
It
it's
is,
survival.
and you can have to step down
An
from
enlightened person can survive very square. They will know what to do. But I think what these two guys are emphasizing, there is a bigger political inclination to this whole process than
It's not technical.
than the narrative that we're being given, efficiencies, money coordination, money one. That one is not there.
you know,
It's more of a political thing. You have sent a political
Let us
signal.
not- let
I've
us
begun
not-
to restructure
let us not
government.
rule out all of these possibilities. They're all there. Of course, this thing did not start yesterday. I've told you, I've seen this process for about 3 years, but being fought from within. not to ensure that it is happening.
You see, the
But
basic
eventually,
the basic structure for your
the timing,
analysis.
why now?
Yes.
Is because of the politics now. Also,
But-
it
And the
occurs
budget.
well.
Yes.
But also when they
These
were
fellows have no money.
when they were doing all this, I think there were also too much assumptions. Because from where I see it, if I'm being too theoretical or academic, if I've been in an agency, we've been working well, I'm one of the best. I'm sure they are taking people who are going to be the best. Am I really going to allow to go back to a ministry? They are assuming that everyone they are going to pick.
But some of these people are not even working in ministries.
Yeah, it's the assumption that people are going to allow to work there. And if they are not going to allow, they've given them 3 years. By those 3 years, they would have gone to
By the way, I
the
don't
jobs.
think
Who
3 years
is
is
going
not
to
a
move
good-
to the ministry?
But talk about politics. Talk about politics. In fact, somebody suggested that this is also a way to create jobs. Because Hadija would say, I cannot go back to 3 million shillings. Then her job falls vacant. Somebody else will come and fill the point for 3 million.
But which
Well,
somebody else,
they-
is that person experienced enough
Well,
and are they going to work
well,
effectively? And
Now you're talking almost on cross purposes because now we're talking politics.
Oh, okay,
Effectiveness
okay,
doesn't
okay.
really matter.
Okay,
Politics.
okay.
The larger question, the larger issue right now on the issue of the timing has to do with pressure. None of these things that is happening right now, the basic tool of analysis for getting the story behind the story is follow the money and question the timing. There is pressure.
What's the pressure?
The pressure is money. Money.
We're collecting taxes.
Our domestic revenue collection performance is very, very bad. It's very low.
14% of GDP. That's
compare it to East Africa, there's
It's what?
80% in Rwanda.
14% of GDP.
But
This
we are
is
It's low.
Africa is low.
In any case, here's my point.
That's
That
too low.
Which GDP has stagnated itself also.
yes. So
The thing is,
wait, let me
60% of it is in Kampala where real estate doesn't deliver.
No,
let me just
Okay, sorry, okay.
let me just construct this point. When you have pressure of money, you're going to go roughshod. You're going to be reactive instead of creating responses. And somebody is going to come up and say, look, we're going to save 1 trillion shillings, which is X% of revenue collections, X% of GDP. But that is actually not the solution towards our money problems. I'll give an example. One sector like this, transport. The fundamental, and our economists here would tell us, the fundamental consideration for any economic activity in Uganda is around our landlocked status. We must address our issue of being a landlocked country before and as a basic forward of anything else. We killed the railway. We killed the railway. We are pushing our exports and imports by road.
Yeah.
What does that do to us? We are suffering a 27.5% penalty
It's higher.
annually. 27.5%.
Second most expensive route.
No, but
Now, can you imagine that
Right.
just by correcting access to sea, we will resurrect 27.5% in this economy?
27.5% of what?
That's the penalty. Everything. When you buy a bottle of water, that net cost is 27.5% higher. If,
But most things we
The
don't
rail was
need.
right.
We don't need the rail. We don't need the sea.
okay?
You look at our exports.
So the solution to money
DRC and
is not reactive.
Why?
The solution is
Why DRS and Sudan?
refocusing
That's what you
our
produce.
fiscal policy and our monetary policy to work together, to speak together, to have critical thought about
Coordination.
absolutely.